following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
We want thickness.
She say she feel me like some frail, like come around, she wag her tail, gripping on her ponytail. That's your girl, I couldn't tell. Quickie smoke inside the cell, that smoking's all I couldn't tell. I be smoking by myself, nah, I don't need no help. But shawty, you could help. Let's drop a couple tabs, come on shawty, let's sell. Dripping acid in that L, sipping out the holy grail. We smoking on some gas, you can tell just by the smell.
What's up? Dude, let me go back. I'm sorry.
One more time.
What's up, protectors? This is Jaidyn Venus. Welcome to Thickness Protection Program. This is a podcast that celebrates body positivity
for the adult content creator community.
I'm here with Dylan, and I'm going to ask him some questions today.
It's called the Outer View.
I love that.
Oh my God,
it's
Jinx.
so refreshing. It's so fucking refreshing.
Yeah, I know. I get to sit in the passenger side this time.
You get to reflect on all the observations and like things that resonated with you in like the time that you've been doing this, and that matters a lot.
We get to talk about all the guests who have been on. Shout out to all the protectors.
Yes.
Pardon the interruption, protectors, but this is Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. And before we go any further in this interview, I'm gonna need you to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you are following the podcast. And please leave a rating before you get up on out of here. Now back to the Thickness Protection Program. Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. You dig?
We want thickness.
I really appreciate that he has made like this platform where like everybody can hear us talk. I feel like that's what fans really like, is like they want to know everything about you personally besides the content. Like I feel like, and I actually really like that because it draws in like the more humanity aspect of everything. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Exactly. And yeah, that's definitely the goal, is to, humanize the guests and make it so like, I think I'm really fortunate that I've been put in a position to do this because, people don't know, they just see, somebody hot fucking, they don't really know who that is as a person and their story and how they got there. So, I feel like Thickness Protection Program has been good to, add that layer to the business.
Definitely. And it's very much, and I really appreciate like you creating the visibility.
For sure. You're welcome.
So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I know you just got back from Chicago, from Exotica. What was that like for you?
It was amazing. It kind of just fell into my lap. I, wasn't even thinking about going to conventions or any of that. I was telling Natalie Kinky and a couple of the other guests, looking at AVN and looking at all that crazy coverage kind of reminded me of like, seeing all your friends go to prom and then you're just at home. I'm like, damn, I need to be involved with that.
Right.
So I was on live one day with Coco the Goat. Shout out to my girl, and then Chanel Barbie, Coco Chanel. Yes. I was on the Instagram live with those two chicks, and I was like, damn, damn, Coco, I need to meet you. Like, what are we gonna do? She's like, come to Exotica Chicago. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it. She got a big booking in Boston. So shout out to her. But got to the bag. But anyway, I had an incredible experience. It was really at the suggestion of Omaya BBW, who was like nudging me like, hey, you need to pull up to this. You need to come out to this. And it's crazy because even before I interviewed her back in November, she was inviting me to a content house in Nashville in June. So it kind of Chicago kind of rolled around, and I was like, you know what? This is low-key affordable. This is a great networking opportunity, and I get to, really shake hands and hug everybody who's been on the show virtually up until now, and then go out there and promote. So that's what I did.
Dude, that's what's up. Like, I'm so glad that you took advantage of the moment, because you never know what can come up along the way and, like, not make it easier. You know what I mean? Like, you just have to do shit. Like, when it comes up, like, you just have to do it.
Exactly. And, hey, for those of you who are, like, thinking about doing a convention and, you might be shy, get out there and do it. Just go.
Okay.
Just get rid of it. You're gonna be thankful. Your future you is gonna thank present you for making that decision. Get your ass out to one of them conventions.
You stay telling me.
Yeah. Scoot in. Scoot this way.
Okay. So what's good? Okay. So what is the crowd like from like protectors versus like the palm side?
So
videos?
for those of you guys who don't know, well, my YouTube channel, which all these TPP videos are uploaded to, Palm, which stands for Pretty Awesome Lit Music. Since 2015, I've been running an underground music blog that I've converted into a media company where you'll get like interviews with artists, behind scenes shit at concerts, like vlogs, hot music reviews, my hot takes on what happens in today's music, predominantly hip hop, that whole sort of thing. So after doing that for 8 years, 7 years, something like that, I had, built, I'm not crazy famous, I'm not viral, nothing has over 10,000 followers on it. Yeah, I had built a foundation and a community of artists, supporters, producers, and such. So that, what had been the blessing from that to thickness protection program was that predominantly my fan base is men. So looking at the analytical numbers, a lot of the guys who, are up and coming artists and they, do music, they happen to, like the ladies who I interview. So one thing,
Really?
what I'm also kind of at the same time curating is that like looping the protectors, who I call like the guests and the supporters of thickness protection program, and the palm tree, who are like the community who, enjoy the music and make the music, and merging this as palm tree and protectors.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
The integration, like it's like, I like that it's completely separate worlds, but not really, because rappers and sex workers actually, like the whole spectrum of workers, face a lot of the same risks and a lot of the same challenges in like work. It's really interesting, actually. Like, I like that you have that intersectionality.
No doubt. Yeah. It has been really interesting. It's been fun, getting to know a whole new crowd of people. And I'll be honest with you, after many years of interviewing up and coming artists, I'll still do a music interview when I'm ready to, and if it's somebody I really, really fuck with. But as of right now, this thickness protection program thing is taken off. This is developing a mind of its own, and we got a lot more TPP interviews in the vault for you guys. So when it comes to the interview side, I'm going to be more over here than over there. But, hey, man, somebody come with some hot shit to get. If you want Palmcast, you got to, you got to be coming with some hot shit, or be somebody who's going to bring some value to the platform.
Shit show, no worries, I'ma do my damn thing, no worries, baby, no worries, no worries, baby, no worries, no worries, baby, no worries, no worries, baby, no worries.
I'm so glad that you're doing this and everything. Like, what made you pick BBWs over other categories?
Thickness protection program was something I had just been saying for years. People would be like, homies would be just like big girls, don't you? You like thick girls, don't you? I say, hell yeah, I'm in the thickness protection program.
I love that.
Yeah, and I used to just say that. Like, I've been saying that since like 2018, 2019. And that first logo that was like the world, I had like the idea for that on my laptop or my iPad or whatever since like 2019. So originally I was just going to like put that on a hoodie. But, over the years, going back to 2017, there's been like a handful of different BBW interviews I had done in various formats, and then it just led up to the first one I did with Chanel Barbie and Monique Leslie last March, and I realized, okay, how am I going to look when I'm sending DMing music people this link to this porn star interview? It was like, this got to take on a life of its own, and it has. So bam. My intention was that this was going to be the special thickness protection program, was going to be a special edition of Palmcast, like the Sports Illustrated swimsuit, if you will. But this is popped off. This is its own thing, and I'm happy this way. It's only up from here.
Oh my gosh, that's really dope. I love that.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Thank you. So I want to ask you about some of the models that you had. What interviews resonated the most with you, and why?
Okay, great question. Number one, shout out to Kimmy Kaboom, Mega MILF Queen. Got the chance to meet her on her birthday out there in Chicago over the weekend. She was just so cool. Just like a cool guest. Like she had just really good banter. She's just really funny. And I like Southern accents, and she just has just that sauce. Like, and I was telling her, for me personally, for us brothers who grew up with lots of white friends, that's just like that's the homie's mom right there. So pow.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Yeah. Hey, I had a fat ass crush on one of my friends' moms, and like that was low key like not my first kiss, but like she know who she is. That was my baby too. Back in like middle school.
Your baby? Oh, yeah, I love that.
Oh yeah, you know how like okay, I might have to edit this out, fuck it, but I'll tell you. You know how like when people say goodbye, you give like kiss goodnight?
Yes.
That broad was low key. I was like 12, 13. She was like 40 something. That bitch was kissing me on the lips. I swear to God.
I hear. You know what though? I actually hear this a lot about like a lot of black guys I know. Like they had experiences like that when they were young. Like it's.
That was my baby. She know that was some early sugar. For sure.
Baby. I love that's really wild. But thank you for sharing that.
No doubt.
What interviews so have you had any like moments when you're interviewing somebody where you really felt like their experience
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about?
The human experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are some things that you realize?
I'm glad you asked that. Because early on, I thought, this is still from the mouth of a comedian. I've grown up all my life doing stand-up since I was like 14, even before that. But some of the human experiences when we deal with topics like mental health, and I'm talking to Brianna Kahlo, and she explains that she has this condition where she'll start busting out crying.
Oh my gosh.
And that was challenging yet interesting, because I think we really needed to share the layer that, hey, just because here I am sitting talking to a porn star, it's not a punchline. These women deal with very real things and are in a very position of vulnerability. And for the record, no matter who I'm interviewing, the best interview I've ever done is the next one coming out. Always. That's always the goal.
I love that.
Next one coming out.
I really love that.
But yeah, another interview that really stuck out to me is the one I recently put out with Mistress Dolly. Shout out to her. Got to meet her over the weekend in Chicago too, because she's just such a unique character, and she's similar to me. She's an eclectic. She's of mixed heritage. She grew up. She's bi-coastal. She's born and raised in San Diego, but lived in Pittsburgh for the last few years. All the tattoos and just like the way her position in the sex industry is so unique. Again, your story is unique. Omaya's story is unique. Finney's story is unique. J. Crew's story is unique. I was actually reluctant to interview men at first, especially one-on-one. But looking back on it, some of my favorite interviews from Thickness Protection Program have been the ones with men. Because they just keep it really real. And my favorite question to ask some of the guys are like, most guys would say, hey, you're the luckiest man alive. You fuck bitches for a living. Is that true or false? And I've gotten a range of responses from that question.
I think, honestly, everybody thinks this industry is so smooth sailing and easy but like sex is like the part you get to at the end. It's so much before that. And there's some people that want to be content creators. So the fact that you also interview men to get their human experience, that's so valid, because men, honestly, this is like the one industry where like men are overshadowed by women. And like income wise, like earnings and a lot of other stuff. That's common sense to everybody. So people don't actually think about men with like sentiments at this job, and like they also do face struggles.
Right.
I even see it, and I'm just like, wow, like you don't see that in like the civilian world. Like it's like such pettiness sometimes.
One of the things that I admire so much about the adult industry, which is different from music and different from professional sports, is that, I really relate to Finney. We're around the same age. We both play video games. We're both college educated. And just kind of the way we carry ourselves are very, very similar. I relate to Bones kind of for the same reason. Shout out to Bones Montana. And these guys who, growing up, I didn't have like all the girlfriends. I didn't have all the bitches and all that. Like, that kind of came earlier, realizing like, oh, I am kind of cool and like I can pull off like a player persona. But, to actually be in the presence of men who have sex with a ton of women for money, I've really, I have learned from them, but I really, a wise man once said, shout out to Ruben Slick from Metro Zoo, pussy isn't everything. And, you know, I kind of carried that through my life and through my game, to realize, you know, another thing I've learned from doing this show is that a bad bitch ain't nothing but a person.
It's so true.
Yeah, so
it's so true.
I had subscribed to, the Manosphere content, and I'd read Neil Strauss, and I had subscribed to a lot of this self-improvement for guys type stuff, and listen to AMS and listen to Kevin Samuels and listen to Fresh and Fit.
Oh my god!
And I had to turn all of that off as of recently to just realize, number one, don't let these niggas on YouTube tell you what to think. Number one. Number two is like the misogynistic component alone is maybe tune out. And number three is that I'm spreading my wings as a content creator and as somebody who talks on camera. And to my genre of content that I create is that I would rather sit and learn from someone like you and learn from all these women rather than project. I just can't get down with that Andrew Tate type of vibe of like telling what women should do and a woman's role and what she should do with her body. And, I enjoyed Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul, for the entertainment value of him. But now that I make my own type of stuff in this genre, it's that I'm not here to tell men what to do or what to think, but I have learned from women like you. So I'm sitting back learning more because there's a lot more learning to do.
That was so well articulated. That was amazing because it's just like letting people do the thing. Like, you know how Mark Leda just lets people talk?
Exactly.
That's the best type of journalism.
Right.
Like, you're not trying to control the narrative and basically have an objective and your own agenda. You just let things happen organically. Right. And
I took a job as a waiter. I'm trying to flex on my haters. That part don't happen till later. I'm peeling off layer by layer. 75 cents on my tap card. Carry more weight than a rap bar. I seen a thug on the bus. Possible op, so I act hard. Get to my stop and I go quick. I left my wallet like, oh shit. Just got to work and I'm hopeless. 5 minutes in it, I'm so sick. I kill a beat like a massacre. These people think I'm a janitor. Bitch wanna ask for the manager. I obviously wasn't a fan of her. I'm livid cause nobody tipping. I fill up the water they sipping. They fuck up the vibe and they dipping. I've been considering stripping. Might be a possible option. Buy me a drink when you drop in. Maybe I'm supposed to be broke, and life is a game I cannot win.
And I look up to Mark in the highest regard. Mark is one of my. We love Soft White Underbelly. That's one of my favorite channels. Hats off to Mark. I can't speak highly enough. Mark does the Lord's work. I'm not even joking. So,
I don't. Yeah. No matter what anybody says about Mark, that they feel like he fetishizes people's experiences, I don't see it that way. And I'm extremely empathetic and I am so observant.
Trying to get more info.
I really appreciate journalism where you guys just let things happen, because everybody's story is so valuable, and it's so important for men to actually care about and see not even just women as people, but people will never understand certain obstacles that we deal with that are that really pertain to just being a woman.
Exactly. Again, all the sex workers I interview are in a vulnerable position, and I truly feel blessed that I've been allowed in as an insider and as someone people feel comfortable telling their story to and comfortable opening up to. And if you guys have noticed, I've gone on to be friends with the majority of every guest on Thickness Protection Program.
Yes. You are it's so easy to talk to you. It's actually really crazy.
Thank you so much.
It's giving Mark vibes. I love that.
Thank
so
you.
much.
And I'm I'm trying to give my own genre of journalism to where it's not I was trained to do the whole Channel 6 News and do the whole, I'm live at the blah, blah, blah hotel and we're seeing high rates of fog. I was trained to do that.
Oh my God, I'm having a nip slip. I'm so sorry.
Patreon! Okay.
Oh my gosh. I'm whoops!
But yeah, I was formally trained, but I think now I'm discovering my own genre, and as long as it's covering this, to the point where it's serious enough, but it can be silly. We can have sound effects, we can have gifs, we can have, damn son, where'd you find this? We can have all types of crazy shit, but as long as the story is still accurately getting told, I think I've done my job.
Right. I want to go back to something that you mentioned about like you sending rappers like your porn stuff. What have been reactions that you've had from that you were surprised by?
Good question. You know what? This podcast as a whole has made me realize two things. It's the immaturities of men and the insecurities of women.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Well, when we talk about men, particularly, and most of the men I deal with on a business level, when I'm not at like the TV studio jobs that I work, the men I deal with are hip hop artists a lot. No disrespect to them, I have the utmost respect for all the underground artists who I work with. If it wasn't for you guys, I would not have a dime to dedicate to any studio time or anything like that as it pertains to thickness protection program. But there's a lot of just immature comments I will get from peers who happen to be males, like, "Oh, so are you fucking the girl? Are you this? Are you that? Or
Oh my
what
god,
if you
hella
did?
superficial.
What?
Like,
Yeah. What are you doing?" It's just mostly stuff like that, and to be looked at in this way when you're around a lot of women and a lot of beautiful women, to be looked at, oh, you got something going on, which I do, but like to be looked at that way, like, oh, you're the man, is like, you know what? I'm the man when the interview's uploaded in all platforms and it's getting views and
period.
people are learning from this and wanting to do more. Just because you see me with some chicks doesn't mean I'm the man.
It's so funny because I feel like a lot of men are just curious about BBWs but are shy because literally the whole like there's just that like stigma and like honestly monolith growing up that if you're fat, well, it's not even you're bad, but like you will get clowned on if you like fat girls.
Perhaps.
I think like our generation.
Well,
more so.
it's two things going
now,
on.
You see, like I swear, fat girls are always with the finest guys. Like
Right.
in public, like it's some regular shit. Like finer guys than like skinny girls be getting. In my opinion,
Because it changes. Aston Martin broke this game down to me. It changes with the times. In times of when it's economically slow, the bigger the woman means that she's eating good. It's that she has resources. She will keep you warm.
Wow.
And then you go back to times where, as Americans, we were doing better economically, than thin was in. In the 90s when Bill Clinton was president, thin was in because, there was a lot more dollars circulated.
Wow, I didn't actually think of that. She made a very good observation.
Right. I think maybe, to a testament to us as black and brown people, it's like, we were always in the full figure. We were always in the booties and stuff because, like, statistically, we had less, But, like, when they had more junk in the trunk, it's like, okay, she must be doing well.
Wow. Right.
Sexual psychology for y'all in the TPP.
You know what's crazy though is like I see some interview where like even Blueface was talking about how he likes BBWs and like he would hit Lizzo even if she had COVID. And like he was like,
gross. Yeah.
No, I mean it's wild, but like he said he's had BBW pussy and like it was fire.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and also take away the first beat. It's just beautiful women in the same spirit. It's like it's the same. Like, hey, like imagine two guys sitting at the bar. Hey, you think I can get that girl to go talk to me? Right. And it's like niggas want to talk to the freak of the week, they, and I guess I'm providing some type of fantasy for a dude who just wants to have a conversation with Jaidyn Venus or a Mistress Dolly or a Ash Lauren or a goddamn, I've interviewed a lot of girls. So
oh my god,
yeah,
I don't even know this. Like I know a lot, but I'm like shit.
So yeah, there's a lot of different reasons, but hey man, BBWs, I've always liked them thick. Always like no disrespect to the skinny chicks. I like women of all sizes are beautiful, but let me tell you, I remember being in grade school, elementary school, and like at the bowling alley how they got the little arcade separately, you can win like little prize tickets, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese, but this wasn't at Chuck E. Cheese. So anyway, at the bowling alley, when you go cash a little tokens and get a prize, get like a Rubik's Cube or whatever, I remember going up thick ass Latina broad. I was like in fifth, sixth grade, like crushing on her just because she had the cleavage showing in the uniform.
Oh my gosh,
Thickness,
that's
day
hella.
one.
That's cute as
Yeah, I remember
hell.
liking like in middle
I
school,
love
like one of
that.
the assistant teachers who was like a that out. Yeah, yeah. It was all, I've been about this, nigga. I've been about this so bad because like I used to take my mom's Lane Bryant catalogs and just like flip through them.
No
And that I was
way.
telling Suave. I don't if you ain't ever heard of my man Suave. He's a P out there from East Oakland. But yeah,
Oh my
I was telling my man
god.
Suave, like bro, he's like, yeah, thickness protection program. What is this? Oh, you like thick girls? Blah blah blah. Yeah, man, I used to take my mama Lane Bryant catalogs and flip through that shit. And that was like the first time I was like seeing women in their bra and panties. So yeah, I was like kind of
That's
I
so
always been down with the
wild.
thickness.
I love that so
Yeah.
much. It's so crazy because I was just telling somebody, I'm like, because they really like big girls too, and I was like, I can't believe like when I was younger,
Yeah.
like we didn't even see that as much, but now it's so regular.
Yeah.
Not in the bad way where it's like, ew, that's regular, but like it's so common. Like nobody, I don't even think like people see it as like something you have to over compensate
I don't know
for.
the statistic, but I think the majority of Americans are a little overweight nowadays. So it just is what it is, man. So I'll just
Let's
cut it
talk
out. I'm
about
not
Sting
cool
Team
with it.
because he knows.
Yeah.
He knows. I love. Okay, R.I.P. Draco. Period. Like
And R.P. Ketchy the Great.
yes, R.I.P. Ketchy too. You know, it's Ralphie has really been carrying like with the whole legacy and everything. I am so sad I actually missed their Santa Cruz show.
First of all, if you guys don't know, go back to my interview from December of 2020. I interviewed Ketchy the Great, who was part of the
Long
rap collective
live.
Stink Team, which was frontman by Draco the Ruler, who was fatally stabbed at Once Upon a Time in LA in December 2021.
Dude.
Yeah, yikes, time flies. But yeah, that was my first time and my last time speaking to Ketchy. Real dope artist. He was gracious enough to come to my platform. Originally, we were supposed to do that interview in person at Vitawood, but because of COVID, I chose to do it via Zoom just because, I don't want to get emotional here, but, we were supposed to link face to face and, God rest his soul, but I'm happy we had that conversation. It was my first time talking to him. It was my last time talking to him. He had some fire ass songs. He was, building a name for himself in the LA rap scene. The following summer, I got to interview Money Monk, who was part of the Stink Team. He's no longer in the group, but it was good to break bread with him, and he was real cool. Money Monk kind of reminded me of like a more hood Tyler the Creator, kind of mixed with Gucci. So
Wow.
yeah,
That's a
so
flex.
yeah, that night Draco got stabbed. The next morning, I did an interview with Fox. You guys can check it out on YouTube. And
Really?
I don't think I got to say all that I wanted to say in that interview either. But you know what? Sadly here in Los Angeles, killing a rapper is as LA as Bad Traffic or Fat Burger. And this is
Wow.
this is something that we do. We are a culture of violence. But I think we have, as the LA hip hop community, we have to come together and just be like, hey, we're not going to tolerate that, and make sure that guys are protected. Whether that's a PNB Rock or that's Earl Swavey or Slim 400, I could go on about all these dudes who have tragically lost their lives too soon. And I get so emotional about this because these are guys that I know. Like I've met Earl Swavey. I'd be around, dude. The year he was, I think in 2021 in April, I had seen him at a party, and yeah, so I'd be around these guys, and it hurts, to go through this season of senseless bloodshed, and that can't always be a topic of how we do. And it's like in Los Angeles there's this culture of that we're always mourning something, and that's a really fucked up thing. I don't have
Right.
any better ways to explain it.
So, I want to say I really appreciate you and Jeff Weiss.
Shout out to my man Jeff. Yeah.
you guys doing the Lord's work for underground rap, especially on the West Coast. Like, Jeff is such a good writer, period. I've already told you about this, but I think it's really moving the way he humanized the Stink team
Right.
to like literally noting like his regular interactions with Draco when he was in Compton and stuff like that.
Right.
And those boys have been through a lot.
And
A
Jeff documented it
lot.
really well in his piece on the assassination of Draco the Ruler.
Oh my gosh, dude! It took
Which-
me weeks to read that because I was so emotional. Like,
Yeah.
it felt like I lost a cousin or something. When
Right,
Draco passed
right. It
away.
was definitely a dark cloud over our city, and I
Oh my god,
Jeff-
dude! It
yeah.
makes me emotional. Like, but please continue. Like that. It's
I
just.
think
the
Jeff
analogies, the
really
connections
spoke
you
on it
make.
really well. That it was Draco's big night. You know, once upon a time, LA had like 50 Cent, Too Short in the game, and he was going to perform with the best of the best. It was like his inauguration almost from like an underground rapper into like, you made it, dog. You got a song with Drake. You're the shit. You have made it. And to go out that way was like on some total. It was kind of the most gangster shit ever, honestly, the most rock star shit ever. You know, to get stabbed
That's
at your own. It was
true.
horrible, but that ain't nobody topping that, man. Rest in peace, Draco.
It's so wild. He still is having so many good songs come out after his death. Like everybody that loved him is
Yeah.
carrying him so well. Like I can't wait to see Blue Bucks
Yeah.
drop that album with him, and then there's just so much going on. Like with like O3 Greedo coming out, and then like not having Drake around. 'Cause
Right.
He's like, that's my treacherous twin. And like
Yeah.
we know them
And
together. It's like, oh look, he's playing right now.
It's
See, like
yeah, that Wolf of Grape Street album was
dude,
crazy, classic.
West Coast classic.
But to be in Greedo's shoes, to come home and Draco's been killed, and P&B Rock's been killed, and Ketchy's gone, and
he literally has songs
Yeah.
with all three
all
of those
three of those people, and there's probably more people we're forgetting. I mean, Nebula Swavey's gone, and it's insane, you know, how the LA hip hop scene has just been characterized, as well as the SoundCloud rap scene, you know, with X and Lil Peep passing away way before their times. It's like, I don't, again, like what I said to Fox was like, you know, there needs to be this, some therapy for the hip hop community. Because we're losing
Right.
guys way too soon.
I'm really surprised. I mean, like, I don't know what goes on within like distributor meetings and like record label stuff,
Yeah.
but mental health and like I feel like it's not even just mental health, but it's also just like the whole implementation of like forced luxury on us. Like people are so superficial. Like people are dying for like jewelry, like Pop Smoke dying in LA.
Right.
That's
That was another
insane.
big
Like
one.
for the most trivial shit.
Yeah.
Like it's unacceptable. It's
Two
like,
reasons.
like come on, like
Killer Mike said it best. I mean, this could be conquered with affordable housing and good jobs. You know, people wouldn't have to flock or wouldn't have to steal or hit licks or commit crimes, which all of that meant commit crimes, with
right.
if there were better opportunities. And quite frankly, you know, we saw that a couple months ago, that jewelry theft in Tustin, and Jabaloke was involved with that, and he got arrested. But to have like a rapper who's a decent name, at least locally out here, involved in that is like, you know what, there's not enough opportunities for artists to really thrive. I don't know if that's an LA thing. I don't know if that's a California thing. But the music industry is changing. We're getting AIs getting into the business, and this is, you know, kind of a changing of the guard that we're witnessing right now.
I really appreciate like that's so crazy because I know the AI song for Drake just came out, and like it's just the world is changing in a way where it's like everything is forced on us, and like AI, and then like just everything is so superficial, and it makes me sad because I feel like everything, like death is becoming so common. Like
Right.
we're so desensitized to it. And
It
then
is.
it's all like all people reflect on is what people had. And I feel like people always say like, oh, well, you don't take it with you, so it's not as significant as we make it or as it is to you. But it's like literally everybody places so much value on what you have, how much you're flexing, this and that. And there's so much, that's why I say like there's so much intersectionality with the industry. I work in like in sex work and rap music because you can die for nothing at
Right.
any time. Literally, like, and I don't want to focus too much on death because there's so many amazing things happening, you know, with the living. And, you know, I don't want to like stay on just that subject, but we can't avoid talking about the things that happen on the West Coast and like
Right.
the violence factors and like Draco, the way Draco, you know, it's to say he died in the most rock star way. I feel like it's shit that he could have perceived prior. Like, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel
I
like
honestly
in a way,
blame security at the venue. You
Live
know,
Nation is going to hell.
yeah,
Like you know
they're
what I
going to be in
mean?
some serious trouble.
Right. What else? Like,
The festival was just very disorganized, but the
he was performing
silver
with Brenton
lining, the
Wood.
silver lining for me and for this podcast was that was the day I saw Monique Leslie in Passing. Yep.
Oh my goodness,
So,
that's dope. Oh
yeah,
my
like,
gosh, did you get to see Brenton Wood? Was he performing? I heard he
I don't
was
know who that
performing
is.
Brenton Wood. Come on now,
I
you
don't
know.
know who that is.
Come on, like you know Chicano culture, lowrider culture.
I should. Yeah, I
Dude,
feel
you
bad.
know
Sorry,
Brenton
my
Wood.
Chicano godparents, Rick and Becky, are gonna be like tis tis right now. Like, shit.
Dude, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I want to go to the Chicano Museum in Riverside.
Oh,
It's
for
hella
sure.
out the way.
Let's do a vlog out there.
I would love that. You know, I'm a big history person
For
and
sure.
everything. But you know, that's funny because Greedo and Draco always talk about the Migos, this and that,
Yeah.
and like talking about Mexicans, whether it's like in a like, you know, clowning on them if it's like small shit way, or it's like, you know, talking about solidarity. And
Right.
like that's one thing about LA and the West Coast is there's a lot of unity between Latinx community, Black community, and
It's
like,
starting. In years
it's
past
starting.
in Southern California,
It comes in
definitely
waves.
hasn't
It
been
comes
that
in
way. But I
waves.
think, you know, our generation is definitely setting an example. You know, that we, you know, growing up, I have predominantly, I have a lot of Hispanic friends, a lot of Latino friends, and like, it should always just be about, you know, who's cool to you and who embraces you for who you are, not about like your race or your background.
There's so many like commonalities between both communities, but I'm talking about like economic factors and things like that.
Right.
Obviously, the whole lived experience is different, but I that is one thing about LA that I love is literally all of the street culture, the music culture, the historical culture of like Rodney King and like,
Yeah.
you know, Chicano culture. And then actually like at a lot of points in time, like in the 60s, like both groups like actually fighting for each other physically, like literally
Right.
like Brown Berets, like, you know, Black Panther Party, like literally fighting for each other to the end.
I love that.
You know what I mean? And like LA's like, of course,
Yeah.
I'm from the Bay Area, so we're like, oh, LA, fuck the Lakers, fuck Dodgers, but they're so
All right,
significant.
bye, Jaidyn.
with
No, I'm
their- the Warriors are playing tonight. We can't lose against Sock. Anyways, like, I, oh my gosh, I got thrown off with this like the little sports thing.
Yeah.
But I love LA for so many reasons. Like, we love it. I really do love LA. I'm not gonna like ever not have love for LA,
got love for
regardless
the
of the
Bay.
Bay Area rivalry.
I mean, some of my favorite rap music throughout the years has been from the Bay.
Draco always talking about like, shout out Mac Dre,
Yeah, shout out Mac Dre, shout out Larry June, E40,
all of that.
Living
You know,
Legends.
I love
Bay
that.
and LA.
Shoreline
Yeah.
also had a lot, you know,
Right,
tons of
Shoreline Mafia,
solidarity with the Bay and all of that stuff. 03, like,
It's just a West Coast thing on Palm.
it is.
I'm by it.
West
And
Side.
don't get it twisted, you guys. Palm is not a LA music outlet or an LA hip hop blog. That is not who I am. But I stand shoulder to shoulder with those platforms too. I consider, you know, the likes of course, my brother Dijon Paul and Straight Out the Trunk and Giggles Irene. Those are all peers of mine. But you know, I cover music from around the world. I've worked with artists from around the world. So yeah, but you know, I root for the home team the hardest.
That's, of course. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. And there's, you really got me thinking about the rapper death in LA,
Yeah.
literally since we were kids. Biggie.
Biggie,
All this
Tupac.
stuff. you always bring up so many points that I don't consider, and I feel like I'm a very observant person.
Well,
and I really fuck with that.
you definitely want to stay tuned. I mean, the marriage between thickness protection program and then Palm coming from, that hip hop editorial world, you're going to see more of we're going to see more tie-ins in the near future. So
that's awesome.
I actually shed a tear before I left for Chicago just at the mere thought of waking up and not being inspired by hip hop anymore.
That's, you know what? I think I told you before, I wanted to be a rap journalist I've always wanted to be a rap journalist, but I feel like I'm so central to the West Coast. I have to also have set my affinity aside for the West Side for like everything.
Right.
But of course, the job that I'm in, like, it takes over everything in my life.
I think you could be really good at that, honestly, Jaidyn. But the hip hop bag is insignificant to the bag of what you're getting.
I love it though. Like, journalism is so important.
Yeah.
Like, we now even have laws in California that they can't use rap lyrics against rappers anymore.
Hip hop police.
That's so crazy because it really stems from the stigma team.
Right.
They really went
historic.
It is really historic. That's one of the reasons why I changed my major in school, actually, which I mentioned to you too.
That was another eye opener for me. How many of the guests on Thickness Protection Program have college degrees and own multiple businesses?
Right. Oh my gosh.
And don't get me wrong, you do have the women who experiment. The typical story of the you think a porn star or sex worker, you think run away from home and do drugs, and you do have that, but But you have so much more, and that's why this podcast exists.
Addicts. There's even like productive drug
there
addicts
are, yeah.
or drug. I don't want to use the word addicts, users, because I don't like to stigmatize anything because everything goes back to mental health. Everybody has something.
The beauty in us as human beings is that everybody has a story and that everyone's different. So I think the art of podcasting is really to show our differences, but then watch the magic and how myself and the guests come together on one accord.
Yes. Thank you so much for letting me interview you, and then having the whole
the outer view.
I learned so much from you, and I feel like every time that I get to link with you or we get to have some type of dialogue, it really opens even my eyes to set away things from my problems and like everything that I'm dealing with at work, and like think about other people. Like, I've always been a very solidarity based person, but now that I have monumental sized work stuff, I forget about other people sometimes. Like, it's horrible,
pleasure.
Not in a bad way, but I really appreciate that. We all have to learn from everybody else that we work with, especially in this niche.
We do, yeah. Well, this
Thank
was
you
awesome.
so much.
First ever outer view. Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, to the protectors, to the protected, if you want to get down with the thickness and you've already been on the platform, come back and ask your boy some questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Jaidyn, let them know where they can find you, follow you, and watch all your content.
Twitter, Jade XXX Ways. And then my Instagram, I'm on my 4th Instagram, your Jaidyn Venus. Jaidyn Venus is JAIDYN and then VENUS. And then I am my OnlyFans, Jaidyn Venus. Like, those are the 3 things that are the most significant. You can find everything else from there. My booking website, jaidynvenus.com as well.
Excellent. Okay. Well, check me out at youtube.com/PalmOfficial. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you like the video. Comment who you would like to see in a future episode. Instagram is Thickness Protection Program. Twitter is @ThicknessPro. So is TikTok. And you already know where to find Palm. Hey, if you need a review for your music or you need your Spotify bio done, come get at your boy.
Yes.
All right, Jaidyn, join me.
You.
You're welcome. Join me in saying this. We want thickness. We want thickness. We want thickness. We want thickness.
We want thickness. We want thickness.